He had a lot of enemies. He had a lot of Tsars Melech. He had a lot of people were against him. But throughout Tehillim, he keeps on coming back to this. Libi Schach. My biggest enemy is inside of here. All the time. Oivei Nafshi. Who are the Oivei Nafshi? Rabim Kamim Alai. Kikamu Bi Eidei Sheker. Well, it's false witnesses. What false witnesses? Inside of himself. All of Tehillim. That's why each and every one of us can relate to that. If he's talking about outside enemies, okay. Klaisol's enemies, not like we're being attacked here and where we live. But inside of oneself, Oivei Nafshi. Kikamu Bi Eidei Sheker. That's inside a person. I mean, that's the Ikka is inside a person. And David Melech says, Libi Schar. A person wants to have shalom bayis. There's difficulties in marriage. I'm not talking about, God forbid, with somebody when a person's married to Khalil or something, got stuck in some crazy thing, or with a crazy person, Russia, or Shanta, God forbid, or Michigan. But they're having problems in marriage. See, each one always thinks that that the meniya is you. It's you. And David says, Libi schar. Libi. It's a big yesod. One's own heart. Ikke meniyas is in one's own heart. Mesuba v'muka v'mu'uka maknimis v'kashis v'kfiyus al Hashem yisbarach. So Zebechinas, and we see this in the Golus of Mitzrayim. It says, Vayimaru was chayim ba'avodah kosher b'chaymer b'leveinim. It's a famous teaching of Chazal. It says they embittered our lives with very difficult work, slavery, and then with the mortar and with the bricks and everything. So Chazal learned there in the Tikkunim that it says, when it says Vayimaru was chayim ba'avodah kosher is double kushya. It means that our lives became embittered because of our kashas. In other words, the Egyptians, if you'd be looking at this if you'd be watching this on the movie, or you'd be watching this from the window, the biggest enemy of a Jew is the Egyptian. The Egyptian is hitting him. The Egyptians are embittering our lives. But the Zohar Kodesh says, "Vayimaros chayim ba'avodah kosher da kushya." What's embittering the life of a Jew, really, on the deepest level, is not the mitzvah outside of you. It's the mitzvah inside of you. The kushya, you have kashas on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have kashas, questions, problems with emunah inside of you. The meniyas hamarich and meniyas halayif. But the mitzvah, it's bad. It's bad, but we know with tzaddikim, the mitzvahim can't break their spirits. The Egyptians don't break the spirits of the tzaddikim. No. The Egyptians can break the spirit of a person with a broken spirit. But the Ikka Mani is the Mani inside. That's what Chazal are teaching us. Vayimaru is chayim ba'avodah kosher. It's bekushya. That's when a Jew's life is bitter. The bitterness of it, the bitterness is not what they're doing to me. The bitterness is what I've done to myself. And the bitterness is, if I in my deepest heart would know that every single thing that I'm going through, every single second of my pain, every single second, is all because of Hashem's love. If I would believe that, then I wouldn't be embittered. I wouldn't be bitter. I wouldn't be angry. And I wouldn't be broken. So the bitterness, the Vayimaru is chayim comes from the kashis. Hainu hakushiyas shebelibai, that the heart is divided. The heart is not completely with Hashem. Shehem haminiya hagadoil mekulam. That's the biggest maniya. Not the Egyptian outside, the Egyptian inside is the biggest maniya. Va'azai tzarech litzoik la'oviv shebeshamayim bekol chazek mi'imke haleiv. And there's only one way. You have to scream out from the depths of your heart to the Rebbeinu Shalom. To scream the top of your lungs, mi'imke halei, from the depths of your heart. And Hashem hears your voice and turns to you when you're screaming. And it could be shemizeh ba'atzma, that from that screaming and that crying out, once you're honest with yourself, like David HaMelech, Libi, Libi, and you scream out to Hashem for help, that you're trapped, that you're ambushed, that you're encircled by your own kashas, that by screaming, by pushing yourself to scream out yourself, shemizeh ba'atzma yipol v'yizbatel legamrei kol hakushiyos v'hamaniyos. It could happen. That through the screaming itself, all of the kashas and all of the maniyas could fall in a second. V'al kol panim Hashem Yisborach, and even if you don't see that right away, al kol panim Hashem Yisborach shomea koilai, shezeh yishuasa. You have that. You begin to feel that Hashem is listening to you, and that itself is a tremendous Yeshua. That itself gives you a tremendous, tremendous Yeshua. Because remember, the Ikka Yeshua is to feel that you're abandoned. The Ikka Tzara, the Ikka Meniyah, is to feel Chalila that Hashem Baruch doesn't care. That Hashem Baruch has left you, He's abandoned you. That's the Ikka Meniyah. And because of that, what the guy says, because of the Holocaust. So it means that there's this feeling that Hashem wasn't with us. Or if he davened for somebody, he wasn't answered. So he feels that Hashem didn't listen. When a person feels, when a person believes and a person feels that Hashem is listening, even if it didn't change his life, and the mitzias of his life, but that itself is a gewaldige Yeshua. It's a gewaldige Yeshua. Because the main bitterness is the kashas. The main bitterness is that terrible feeling that no one's listening to me. That it doesn't make a difference. That what I'm going through doesn't make a difference. That's the main bitterness. That's the Ikar Meniyah. There's a Oisius, I mentioned many times over the years, this Rabbi Nachman said, there's a Oisius Kushya. And therefore, a kasha, a dilemma, the biggest kasha, a kushya, Kufshin with Aleph, Rashi Tevis, Shema Hashem Kaili Ekra. I beg you, Hashem, listen to me. I'm screaming to you. It's the same Rashi Tevis. It's kushya. Shin, right? Shema Hashem is Yud Yud Kei Vav Kei. Kaili Ekra, Kuf Aleph. That's kushya. That's the only eitz of a person who's surrounded, whose heart is encircled, to force himself, to bring himself to scream. Shema Hashem Kaili Ekra. That is the way to overcome the kasha. Shetzarach rak likreis l'Hashem. To call out to Hashem. When you feel you're already able to admit, to acknowledge. See the fellow that goes to rehab. So once he gets past that initial denial, and he's able to admit, because now he's sitting with other people, and he's not sitting with other people who are talking, and being open and being honest, and he doesn't feel vulnerable that his boss or his wife or this or that, and he's able to talk and emes. So after he gets past that initial shock of self-discovery, of seeing the truth about himself, Taki is an alcoholic, and how much he's hurt his wife, and how much he's hurt his kids, or he's hurt his parents, whatever it might be, and himself. So then he could scream for help. Until then he couldn't scream for help. Because I need help. I don't need help. Forget it. I help other people. I don't need help. The screaming starts when the person is kind of able to admit that he has kfirlach kashas. He has kashas. And there's nothing wrong, there's nothing embarrassing about having kashas. There's nothing wrong. It's not an aveira. Person calls out for help, for Yeshua, for kashas. But that's what David HaMelech said. Libi schachi. You see, the David HaMelech made Tehillim for forever and ever. David HaMelech made Tehillim for us. You see what he says about himself in Tehillim? We would never write stuff like that about ourselves. Yeah, it's all these things that a person can think, what did you do that's so terrible? probably nothing that they actually told him in the Navi. The good stuff they kept out of the Navi. Chalilu. But David Melech did that for us. Libi scharcha. Umein ze mashem sabem b'shem Baal Shem Tov. And he brings the famous marshal of the Baal Shem in the Degel Machne Ephraim. That's where it's brought down, Degel Machne Ephraim, from who was Rabbi Nachman's uncle. Right? The Rabbi Baruch Meshbitzer and the Degel Machne Ephraim, Moshe Chaim Ephraim were brothers. They were the uncles of Rabbi Nachman, the grandsons of the Baal Shem. Rabbi Nachman was the great grandson. Those are his uncles. So it's first brought in the Degel Machne Ephraim and Parshas Kisara.